Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Perkins, and I'm so excited to talk to you today about something that I'm truly passionate about. If you've been in my channel, you might say you're passionate about 1,000 things, and I am. That is true. But today we're talking about how to balance female hormones with food. Now, this topic is one that affects all of us females because we're all hormonal and we all eat food. We want to focus on how to balance our bodies a little bit better with the foods that we're eating today. So by the end of this video, you will know how hormones regulate your mood, your metabolism, your menstrual cycles, and so much more. We're diving in today. So let's explore now how your everyday foods may impact your overall hormonal harmony. So let's start today by talking about hormone imbalance. You might have heard this term. I feel like it's just floating out there. It's a trendy thing at times. And you're wondering, well, I'm hormonal. What does that mean? How do I know if I'm imbalanced? How do I know if I'm having a problem? It is a true condition or state of being. If our hormones, one of the 50 plus hormones that we have, if any of them are in higher amounts than they should be or lower than what they should be, you may start feeling symptoms. And those symptoms can show up as irregular periods. That's probably what I would say is number one. But not everyone in an imbalanced state will have menstrual irregularity, but it is very common. Now, that may look like skipping a period. If your periods were every 30 days, on the dot, like you knew calendar days exactly when your period would come and your period would appear. That's a normal state of being. If your periods come 30 days this month and last month was 45 and the month before that you skipped one altogether, that is a true sign of having a hormonal issue. Now, this is also considering that you're not on birth control or on medication that is actually changing the way that your fertility is or changing your ovulation or your pelvic system. Now, other symptoms may include having extreme fatigue, having excess acne on your skin, meaning that typically when you have hormonal acne, you have a lot of acne by your T-zone or on your chin, lower cheek area. Lots of acne that regardless of your activities is still present. You may have lots of mood swings or even difficulty with weight loss. All of these things are signs of hormone imbalance. Now, the hormones that we're thinking about here are, number one, your sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. And we can even throw in testosterone with that because it is also a very common sex hormone that impacts how your body responds and how it is. It also may include insulin or even cortisol. These are extremely common, but they really truly impact how your overall system is. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of these things and dive in a little bit deeper. But right now, I really want us to focus on foods that will help us become more balanced, help to balance our hormones, the ones we just mentioned, and help you to feel better and feel your best. The number one food that I think that all females, near, far, young, old, anyone reproductive, and anyone concerned about their hormone balance should have is flax seeds. Yes, flax seeds. You can get them in a powdered form. You can have them whole. You can have them, in a lot of different ways. But flax seeds are known to produce something called the lignans. This lignans help to balance our estrogens. Why is our estrogen such a key factor with hormone balance? The reason is a lot of times when we are experiencing some of the symptoms that I mentioned, menstrual irregularities, weight loss issues or weight gain, acne, mood changes, all these things, when we're experiencing these things, many times it is linked with us being in an estrogen dominant state. That means that we have so much estrogen. It's like a strong hormone in our system and we have a lot of it. And this estrogen then causes all of our other hormones to be out of whack. They are just not functioning like they should. They're not being produced in the amounts that we need them to. And so because of that, we become more and more and more hormonally imbalanced. Now, having flax seeds on a daily basis helps to grab the excess estrogens in our system and get rid of it. And the way that it does that is with the lignans, but also the fact that flax seeds have a lot of fiber. Fiber is extremely important to help to remove things from our bodies. We're talking about those excess hormones. We're talking about removing toxins. We're removing things with fiber through our stool, and this is extremely important for us to maintain balance or create balance. And if you have been a part of my programs and you've been taking your flaxseed and your cycles have now become regular, you can attest to the fact that flax seeds are really, really, truly important to help us regulate our menstrual cycles. The next on my list of foods that you absolutely should take to help to balance your female hormones is cruciferous vegetables. Okay, no, this is not a new type of vegetable in the market, but these are vegetables that include things like cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, things like that. These vegetables have a lot of fiber in them. They also include indole-3 carbinol, which is pretty amazing at helping to detox our bodies. So very similar to how flaxseed works, cruciferous vegetables grab all of the excess hormones and estrogens that we have lingering in our bodies and helps to get rid of them and detox our system. And so if we truly want to reset, you want to have cruciferous vegetables as often as you can, at least 3 times a day. And I consider breakfast a meal. And yes, you might not want to have broccoli for breakfast, but I do. I start my day every single day with a cruciferous vegetable in some form. And it's extremely important because while I was in a very imbalanced state before, I'm 1,000 times better now. And one of the key things for me was becoming more balanced through eating enough vegetables. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, you can even snack on your veggies if you'd like, okay? There are ways that you can make like kale in the oven and make kale chips. I mean, I can tell you 1,000 things, which I do tell the members in my community, but I can't in this video because it will take forever. There are ways that we can be creative with our cruciferous vegetables so that we can eat them in different forms at different times of day. That doesn't feel like you are stifling yourself and your diet. It will help you to thrive. And so be creative and do some research on that. Next on the list is healthy fats. I love some healthy fats because they really truly help to balance your system internally. We're talking about things like avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil. These are healthy fats that even in large amounts really helps to support your body more than harm it. So when we're thinking about inflammation, which can happen when we eat a lot of processed foods or even foods made from other or fried in other fats, we are hurting our system because we're starting all these reactive oxidative changes and things that causes cascades to go off internally and put your body in a place where it's just fighting to correct and clear and remove things from your body. And it just puts your body under stress. It causes more inflammation. So when you replace all these bad fats with healthy fats, you're not only keeping your body in a state of ease and not dis-ease or disease, but it is also preparing your body to make new amounts of hormones in the right amounts. So fats, in other words, actually helps with hormone production. And so you want to have the good fats there. You want to engulf your system with them so that at baseline, you have all the right things to make your hormones in the right amounts so your body will function better. Next on this list is protein. I am the biggest fan of protein and healthy proteins. It is one of those things that as females, I know we do not eat enough protein. And it's also something that I talk to my patients and members about regularly. It's important that you start your day with protein, but it's also important that by the end of the day, you have consumed enough protein. And don't be scared of it. The average female really should be having about 120 to 150 grams of protein per day. Now, you might say, well, I don't know what that means. So let's think about this. If you were to have an egg, say you had 2 eggs, each egg may have 5 to 6 grams of protein. Now, if you think of your overall protein picture for the day, if you are aiming to have about 120 grams and you had 2 eggs for breakfast and no other protein, you have a lot of protein to eat in a short period of time, and that becomes harder and harder and harder to do. And so what happens is that when we look at the picture of how much protein the average female has, per day, it is closer to 50 to 60 grams as opposed to 120 to about 150 grams. Now, why am I saying that protein is important? It is not only the building block for our cells, just normally, all the cells we have in our bodies, all the organs we have, they need protein. Hormones need protein. And when we think of hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which is our appetite hormones, they help to tell us when we're full and help to regulate when we eat and how we feel when we're eating. These hormones are important because if they're not in the right amounts, because you're not supporting your body with enough protein, then what happens is that you can have the tendency of overeating because those hormones are not regulating your appetite and your ability to know when to stop eating. So this creates a whole cascade of problems, and they can easily be solved by making sure that we're eating enough protein per day. So if you've never looked into what that may look like, you want to look up the types of protein that you're eating. So whether it's fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, anything, research and look to see how much protein is in each of these things that you're eating and tally them, like total how much you're eating per day, so you can have an idea of how much you're eating and how much more you need to incorporate consciously in your diet. A lot of balancing your hormone is becoming conscious of the things that you're doing, the things you're putting on your plate, the things that you're eating, and making changes and adjustments as needed. It is definitely not super easy. This is not, in a book, I'm just going to do this. This is being mindful, doing research, and creating a plan every single day that you're going to be committed to help your body. I promise you that when you are more hormonally balanced, you are so much happier. You feel so much better. Your skin looks so much better. Your mood is improved. Your organs are functioning better. Your ovaries are doing their thing and ovulating when they should. Your periods are better. Should I continue? There's so many benefits to eating the right foods and making sure that we're more balanced. Because I have a couple more before we finish up today, but important ones that I want you to be mindful of as well. The first is fermented foods. These are things like kombucha, which is my favorite, kefir. You can also have like sauerkraut or kimchi. Anything in the fermented family helps with your hormones as well. Dark chocolate also helps to lower your cholesterol and help to balance your other hormones. Green tea is another, if you like hot beverages. Green tea is excellent with helping to stabilize your internal system and your energy, as well as helping to support your overall adrenal health. Your adrenal is another organ that we have that sits on top of your kidneys, but it is very important with your hormones, your sex hormones as females, and how your ovaries function. So I threw those extra ones in there because, again, there is a ton that we can do on a daily basis. But knowing that these are the key go-to foods that you want to incorporate in your system is important and a good place to start. While we're talking about this, it's also important to know of things that can truly harm your hormones. Number one is alcohol. We love it, okay? Occasionally, I may have a drink here or there. It helps to make us feel good. And when we're like vibing and out with our peoples and family and friends, it helps us to relax and to feel good. However, when we're thinking about our hormones, when we are in an imbalanced state and we're really focusing on trying to reset our system, alcohol will work against your hormones in your system. So you want to be mindful and limit that to the best of your ability. I'd also advise that you decrease the amount of processed foods that you're eating, decrease the amount of dairy that you're having. So that means milk, cheese, and all of the like. And I would absolutely say decrease in red meat. Now, again, we can talk about these things in another video in much more detail. And maybe I will talk about especially the red meat, but for a very quick moment, I just want you to know that red meat oftentimes will have a lot of hormones that are similar to what is normally being produced in your system. So when you eat this red meat, you're adding to your hormonal picture, increasing your total amount of hormone internally, and potentially causing your body to make even more. And so having more hormones and too much hormones is never a good thing for a female, especially a female in their reproductive years. Listen, if it doesn't and you have a question, please comment below. I love your questions. I read them all and I'll respond to you. But let's talk as a community. Let me know what your thoughts are. And as a gift for you listening in today, I'd like to offer you a free copy of my Hormones Don't Lie ebook. In this ebook, I'm giving you a ton of information to help you become more balanced and helping you with all the foods and things that you can do to make your hormonal state much better. I hope this was helpful for you today. Please hang around. Let's talk again. I'm Dr. Perkins, a board-certified OBGYN, and it's my pleasure to teach and to talk and to communicate with you. Thanks for being here.